While the reasons for the presence of these stone sites may be up for interpretation, one aspect of the Indo-European heritage that has remained clear is the Advaita Vedanta philosophical system, a non-dualistic school of thought which stems back to the turn of the first millennium and connects with a renowned Indian philosopher Adi Shankara, whose teachings were composed in Sanskrit. In the heart of the Oxfordshire countryside, these teachings are explored both practically and academically. When I was 7, I first accompanied my parents to the School of Philosophy, a global organisation steeped in this lineage. We join them now during their Sanskrit study week to find out more about the activities of the school. So we're standing today in the hall of Waterbury House with the artist Mr. Geoffrey Courtney to talk about this beautiful work of art that's around us right now and to discover how it's connected with Sanskrit. This here with the lady and the mother and father figure.
And this is really an allegory or metaphor. It says that this is really the human condition. The inner sage, the sage is our inner spirit, our self. And then the two wives are the two aspects of our nature, one which is inclined to the world and one which is inclined to the spiritual path. And both are within. And it is a question of which you tend to follow. So that's the upturned boat. Those are the 9 people lamenting. This is the wise man coming across, or the 10 people. And he explains to them what's gone wrong. Now, this is a story, but it's symbolic. That the human being is a family of 10. There's the 5 senses. There's the mind, the intellect, the heart, and the ego. That's 9. Plus the self, the spirit. And that's 10. And what happens is we forget to count ourselves.
Yeah, and then we end up in this type of state.
And then we end up in this situation because we've forgotten who we really are. We've forgotten the reality of self. And so we only know the 5 senses, the mind, the intellect, the heart, and the ego. And that's who we think we are. And that causes trouble.
So the principles in teaching students Sanskrit calligraphy, they're pretty simple. The first is rather philosophical in a way, which is that when you're writing, the attention goes to where the tip of the nib or the piece of chalk is actually in contact with the paper or the blackboard, because that's where it's happening. And so it's good to be where it's happening.
Yeah.
It's nice to be where things are happening, isn't it? Not somewhere else.
Where it's happening.
And watch it unfolding. So it's a process of attention. When the pen touches the paper or the chalk touches the board, the chalk or the pen is really karanam. It's the instrument most effective for the accomplishment of beautiful writing.
So you put the chalk 45-degree angle.
That's it. You're going to move up and to your right and start
to come
turning.
around.
But don't change the angle.
Oh, stay with this angle. Keep the chalk. Oh, I changed the angle for a second, didn't I? And then it lost its beauty of that perfect semicircle.
Yeah.
Can I rub it out? God.
But as I said, you want something beautiful and refined and exquisite to represent those beautiful, refined, exquisite sounds. Otherwise you're not kind of honouring that beauty and precision. So,
and these shapes and forms, they really do honour that.
Yes, yeah.
Tadamutra,
Tadamutra,
yadeveha,
yadeveha,
yadeveha, tadamutra,
Yadeveha tadamutra.
Well done, that's the first quarter of the verse. You've done a quarter already. It's quick.
It's not about the quantity of study, but it's much more about the depth and precision and understanding with which we undertake this study. Because with the Sanskrit language and scriptures, to understand one sentence fully is to understand everything. So what I find beautiful here is that they have taken one passage. See there, that is the study for the whole week. You see? It's not so much about thinking that, oh, I've read this whole thing or I've achieved this, but to go into real depth on this one passage and see what is revealed. And the atmosphere here is very quiet, very still, and just very resting, really. I finished my day chatting to some of the school's global students who had attended this week. Because there's often a lot of discussion around cultural appropriation and around white people just taking on all this stuff which has been under the guardianship of the land of India, which was not what it is now, but which was spread all across that part of the world, not just the country we see now.
Yes.
And that what's going on with all these Western people, and then the people of Indian origin ending up coming and studying and learning from Western people, what's going on?
I think what it is that, the knowledge or the wisdom is one.
Yeah.
It's regardless of gender or color or race or anything like that. And Sanatan Dharma, that's what it is. It's for everybody. It's eternal, and it's for everybody. So I think if we go beyond who is teaching it, and we focus on the teaching itself, which is of the essence, I think we just transcend all those things. I don't think that comes into it at all. And for us, like I said, that the language has to be a medium that you can use to understand. And if a lot of Indians or any other nationality, when they've moved on and lived in a Western country for 3-4 generations, they're losing a little bit of the language and therefore the culture. And so if you have to learn something in English to go back to the roots, I don't think that there's any problem. And we would just say things but not realize where the mouth position should be or how it should be, etc. And just the effect of even just sounding the alphabet, on the being was so stilling, which, in everyday spoken language is not experienced. And that drew me more and more to the language. And even coming from an Indian background, this is what I've discovered. And that we get so lazy in how we speak every day that we're not even aware of the pure sounds that we're capable of making.
It's kind of the experience, the internal experience. Even when you're sounding Sanskrit, like you were saying, you might not understand it all, but the kind of purity of the intention behind what's being said or chanted or sounded, it has this way of kind of filling you up, and it's something intrinsic that really grabs you, and that's such a powerful feeling. And it is kind of like a universal music almost, that it transcends language and understanding, and you could listen to it and anybody can connect with it, which again brings it back to everything and everyone being as one, which is it's quite a simple concept at its core, but it's also huge and life-changing. And yeah.
Hey Agni,
Thank you.
Hey Indra, Hey Sun.